Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin shows a clear uptrend, consistently hitting new highs. The RSI values, while fluctuating, generally remain within a range suggesting neither extreme overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands indicate that the price is currently trading near the upper band, suggesting a potential for a pullback. Considering these factors, I recommend a strategy focused on capitalizing on short-term pullbacks while maintaining an overall bullish stance. Specifically, I suggest entering a long position when the RSI dips below 40, around $89,100, with a stop-loss placed just below the lower Bollinger Band, at $85,000. The initial target price should be set at the previous resistance level, $93,800, aiming for a quick profit. To refine the strategy, we can implement a dynamic target adjustment. If the price reaches the initial target of $93,800, we should consider moving the stop-loss to break even to protect profits. If the price continues to climb, we can set a secondary target at $95,000. Conversely, if the price retraces back towards the $89,000 level, we should reevaluate the position and potentially tighten the stop-loss to $88,000. This adaptive approach allows us to maximize potential gains while minimizing risk, capitalizing on the prevailing uptrend while accounting for short-term volatility. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum shows a generally upward trend, supported by consistent resistance around $3,290 and a solid support level at $2,900. The RSI fluctuates but spends a considerable amount of time above 50, suggesting bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands show periods of expansion and contraction, indicating volatility. Considering this, I propose a combined strategy focusing on pullbacks to support, utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands for confirmation. We will enter long positions when the RSI dips below 30, ideally near the support level of $2,900. The entry price will be $2,900. The stop-loss will be placed slightly below the support at $2,850 to mitigate potential downside risk. The target price will be determined by the recent resistance level of $3,290, aiming for a profit of approximately $390 per Ethereum. To further refine the strategy, we'll use the Bollinger Bands. If the price approaches the lower band while the RSI is oversold, it strengthens the buy signal. Conversely, if the price approaches the upper band with an RSI above 70, it suggests a potential pullback. Therefore, a long position with an entry price of $2,900, a stop-loss at $2,850, and a target price of $3,290, combined with RSI and Bollinger Bands confirmation, offers a high probability, high return investment opportunity. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a clear upward trend, breaking through the resistance level of $2.2. The RSI consistently moves above 50, indicating strong buying momentum, with recent values nearing overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands have also widened, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $2.06, placing a stop-loss order at $1.98 to mitigate potential downside risk. The initial target price will be $2.36, reflecting the previous resistance level, and a second target price will be $2.4 for further profit potential. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 50, we will consider accumulating more XRP. When the price touches the lower band of the Bollinger Bands, it signals a potential buying opportunity. Conversely, when the RSI reaches 80 or the price touches the upper band, it suggests taking profits or tightening stop-loss orders. This combined approach, with an entry at $2.06, a stop-loss at $1.98, and a target price of $2.36, aims to capitalize on the ongoing upward trend while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows an overall upward trend, consistently testing and bouncing off the support level of $896. The RSI fluctuates between 43 and 64, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. Considering the forecast for the next week, the price is expected to hover around $895 to $903. I propose a long-term position strategy with a focus on capitalizing on the upward momentum and utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands for precise entry and exit points. My recommended strategy involves entering a long position at $895. The initial stop loss should be set at $896, just above the established support level, to protect against a potential downward reversal. The first target price is $903, aligning with the forecast price range and the upper Bollinger Band. If the price reaches $903, a partial profit can be taken, and a trailing stop loss can be adjusted to $900 to secure gains while allowing for further upside potential. The second target price is $911, which is the resistance price. This strategy combines trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Band confirmations to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana shows an overall upward trend with recent price fluctuations. The RSI consistently remains above 40, indicating a bullish sentiment, and the Bollinger Band suggest periods of volatility. Considering the forecast for the next week, the price is expected to hover around $135 to $137. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $135, setting a stop loss at $127, just below the established support level. The initial target price will be $140, aligning with the recent resistance level. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. If the price dips and RSI falls below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at $135 with a stop loss at $127. If the RSI reaches above 70, indicating an overbought condition, we will take profit at $140. This combined approach, leveraging both Bollinger Bands and RSI, aims to maximize returns while minimizing risk, capitalizing on the upward trend and mitigating potential losses. The portfolio will prioritize the combined strategy, adjusting the position size based on risk tolerance. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a clear upward trend, consistently bouncing off the support price of $0.285. The RSI values, ranging from 54.5 to 67.6, indicate that the asset is generally in a bullish momentum, occasionally nearing overbought territory but not consistently. The Bollinger Bands also support this view, with the price consistently fluctuating within the bands and showing a gradual widening, which suggests increasing volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering the forecast for January 10 to January 16, 2026, predicting a price range from $0.301 to $0.308, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.295. A stop loss should be placed just below the support level at $0.284 to protect against potential downside risks. The target price is set at $0.310, aiming to capture a significant portion of the forecasted upward movement. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, oversold, initiating a long position is advisable. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 70, overbought, considering a short position or taking profits is prudent. Furthermore, the price touching the lower Bollinger Band suggests a potential buying opportunity, while the upper Bollinger Band indicates a possible selling point. Combining these signals, I suggest entering a long position at $0.295, setting a stop loss at $0.284, and targeting $0.310. This blended approach leverages both momentum and volatility indicators to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin demonstrates a recent upward trend, breaking through the resistance level of $0.148. The RSI indicates oversold conditions initially, then moving into a more neutral range, and finally approaching overbought territory, suggesting increasing bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands show the price has been testing the upper band recently, indicating a potential for further upward movement. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $0.142, placing a stop-loss order at $0.136, just below the support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $0.15, aligning with the previous resistance level. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider adding to our position at $0.141, with a revised stop loss at $0.137. Conversely, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, we will also consider adding to the position at $0.14. If the price reaches $0.15, we will move the stop loss to the entry price of $0.142 to secure profits and allow for further upside. This layered approach, combining trend analysis, support/resistance levels, and technical indicators, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano shows a slight upward trend, bouncing around the support price of $0.37. The RSI fluctuates, dipping below 50, indicating periods of weakness but generally staying above the oversold level of 20. The Bollinger Bands show periods of contraction and expansion, suggesting volatility. Considering the recent price action and the forecast, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.381. Place a stop-loss order at $0.37, just below the support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price is $0.402, aligning with the recent resistance level. To maximize potential returns, I suggest a dynamic strategy. If the price reaches the initial target, re-evaluate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI is below 60 and the price is near the upper Bollinger Band, consider setting a trailing stop-loss order around $0.39 and a secondary target price of $0.423. This allows us to capture further gains if the upward momentum continues while protecting profits. If the price falls back to the lower Bollinger Band or the RSI reaches 50, consider closing the position or adjusting the stop-loss to the center of the Bollinger Band to protect against further losses. This combined approach leverages both momentum and volatility indicators for optimal risk-reward management. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin Cash shows an overall upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently remains above 50, indicating bullish momentum, although it has approached oversold levels briefly. The forecast prices for the next week are also consistently above the recent historical close, further supporting a bullish outlook. Considering the support price of $623 and resistance of $645, we will implement a strategy focused on capitalizing on short-term pullbacks while maintaining an overall bullish stance. Our strategy will involve a tiered approach. First, we will enter a long position at $641. The initial stop loss will be placed at $623, just below the support level, to mitigate potential downside risk. Our first target price will be $651, aligning with the forecast price for January 16, 2026. If the price reaches this target, we will move the stop loss to the entry price of $641 to secure profits and protect against a potential reversal. If the price continues to rise, we will set a second target price at $653, based on the forecast for January 10, 2026. This layered approach allows us to capture profits at different levels while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wrapped Beacon ETH shows a generally upward trend, though with some volatility. The price has consistently bounced off the support level of 3,150 and has tested the resistance level of 3,570. The forecast for the next week indicates a slight downward pressure initially, but then a potential recovery. Considering the RSI readings, we'll implement a combined strategy. First, we will utilize the RSI to identify potential entry points. When the RSI dips below 30, we'll enter a long position at 3350, with a stop-loss set at 3,320 to mitigate potential losses. Our initial target price will be 3,400, aiming for a quick profit. Second, we will utilize the Bollinger Bands to confirm the trend. When the price touches the lower band, it signals a potential buying opportunity. Next, we'll refine this strategy by incorporating Bollinger Bands for confirmation. If the price falls to 3,220, which is near the lower Bollinger Band, we will enter a long position at 3,220 with a stop-loss at 3,200. The target price for this trade will be 3,270. The RSI readings suggest that the asset is not yet oversold, so we'll be cautious and adjust our strategy accordingly. Finally, we will combine these two strategies to create a portfolio. We will allocate 60% of our capital to the first strategy and 40% to the second strategy to maximize potential returns while managing risk. This combined approach leverages both momentum indicators and volatility bands for a more robust trading decision. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogwifhat shows a mixed trend with periods of consolidation and upward movement. The RSI consistently fluctuates, dipping below 30 and exceeding 65, indicating both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands demonstrate volatility, with the price frequently touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, a combined strategy leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels is recommended. We will implement a strategy focused on capitalizing on short-term price swings while mitigating risk. The primary strategy will be a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands. When the RSI falls below 30, oversold, we will enter a long position at $0.358. The stop loss will be set just below the lower Bollinger Band at $0.249 to protect against unexpected downturns. The initial target price will be $0.378, aligning with the forecast price for January 11, 2026. If the price reaches $0.378, we will reassess the trend and consider adjusting the stop loss and target price accordingly. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 80, overbought, we will consider a short position, but with the current forecast leaning towards a slight upward trend, we will prioritize the long position strategy. This combined approach aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, official Trump shows a clear upward trend, supported by the consistent bounce from the 5.36 support level and the recent push above the 5.42 resistance. The RSI indicates oversold conditions earlier in the period, followed by a move into neutral and slightly overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy with an entry price of $5.36, placing a stop-loss order at $5.26 to limit potential losses. The initial target price is set at $5.62, aligning with the previous resistance level. To optimize returns, I will implement a dynamic target price adjustment based on the Bollinger Bands. If the price approaches the upper band, I will consider taking partial profits and moving the stop-loss higher to protect gains. The forecast data suggests a continuation of the upward trend, with prices hovering around $5.4. Therefore, I will maintain a long position, actively managing the stop-loss and target price to capitalize on short-term fluctuations while aiming for a final target of $5.62. This combined RSI and Bollinger Band strategy provides a robust framework for navigating the current market conditions and maximizing potential returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, PancakeSwap has shown a slight upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 40 to 50 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility, and the price has recently approached the resistance level of $2.07. Considering the forecast for the next week, the price is expected to remain around $1.96 to $1.97. Therefore, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy focusing on short-term gains. My strategy is to buy PancakeSwap at $1.96. Given the current RSI and Bollinger Bands, I will set a stop-loss order at $1.95, just below the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $2.07, aligning with the resistance level. If the price reaches $2.07 and shows signs of further upward momentum, I will adjust the target price to $2.10. This strategy combines technical indicators with support and resistance levels to capitalize on the current market conditions while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, the graph shows a slight upward trend. The RSI fluctuates between 31.1 and 57.4, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a period of consolidation before a potential breakout. Considering the support price of $0.0384 and the resistance price of $0.0425, a strategy combining RSI and Bollinger Bands is recommended. We will implement a combined strategy where we look for opportunities when the RSI dips below 30 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. Therefore, the entry price will be $0.0400 when the RSI falls below 30 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. The stop-loss price will be set at $0.0380, just below the support level and the lower Bollinger Band, to limit potential losses. The target price will be $0.0430, slightly above the resistance level and the upper Bollinger Band, aiming for a 15% profit. This strategy combines the momentum indication from RSI and the volatility indication from Bollinger Bands to maximize profit while minimizing risk. This portfolio will be rebalanced daily based on the updated RSI and Bollinger Bands readings. Based on the historical data and forecast, Morpho exhibits a generally upward trend with recent volatility. The RSI fluctuating between 34.2 and 57.0 indicates periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show the price has been oscillating within a range, with the recent forecast prices suggesting continued upward momentum, although potentially within a narrower band. Considering these factors, a combined strategy incorporating RSI and Bollinger Bands is recommended. We will implement a strategy focused on capitalizing on short-term pullbacks while acknowledging the overall bullish trend. The entry point will be triggered when the RSI falls below 30, indicating an oversold condition, and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. Specifically, we will enter a long position at $1.21. A stop-loss order will be placed just below the lower Bollinger Band at $1.19 to limit potential losses if the price reverses. The initial target price will be set at the upper Bollinger Band, approximately $1.25. If the price reaches this level, we will consider moving the stop-loss to break even and potentially extending the target price to $1.27, near the support level, to capture further gains if the upward trend continues as forecast. This approach balances risk and reward, leveraging both technical indicators to maximize potential returns while protecting against adverse movements. Based on the historical data and forecast, STAX shows a clear uptrend, particularly from January 2, 2026, with a significant price surge. The RSI consistently moved above 50, indicating bullish momentum, and the forecast prices for the next week are also trending upwards. Considering the support price of $0.349 and the resistance of $0.385, and the forecast data, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.35 on January 10, 2026. Place a stop-loss order at $0.349 to limit potential losses, and set a target price of $0.365, aligning with the forecast for January 16, 2026. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate the Bollinger Bands. When the price approaches the lower band, it suggests a potential oversold condition, while nearing the upper band indicates overbought territory. Given the current upward trend and the forecast, I suggest a moderately aggressive approach. The predicted movement based on the Bollinger Band supports the long position. Therefore, the final portfolio will be a long position with an entry price of $0.35, a stop-loss price of $0.349, and a target price of $0.365. This strategy aims to capitalize on the ongoing bullish momentum while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Pump.fun shows a mixed trend with recent upward momentum, but the forecast indicates a potential short-term decline. The RSI fluctuates between 33.6 and 63.2, suggesting periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands indicate volatility, with prices frequently touching or crossing the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I recommend a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands for optimal returns. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 30, signaling an oversold condition, and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. The entry price will be $0.00205. A stop-loss will be set just below the lower Bollinger Band at $0.00198 to limit potential losses. The target price will be set at the upper Bollinger Band, $0.00264, anticipating a bounce back towards the mean. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate support and resistance levels. If the price approaches the support level of $0.00218 while the RSI is below 30, it presents an even more favorable entry point. The stop loss remains at $0.00198, and the target price is adjusted to $0.00284, aiming for the resistance level. However, given the forecast's downward trend, we will reduce the position size to 60% to mitigate risk. If the price breaks below the support level, we will immediately exit the position to prevent further losses. This combined approach balances potential gains with risk management, capitalizing on both technical indicators and price levels for a high-return investment strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cosmos Hub shows a clear upward trend. The RSI consistently moved above 30, indicating a generally bullish sentiment. The forecast for the next week projects continued price increases, reaching $2.73. Considering the support price of $2.52 and resistance price of $2.76, we can implement a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands. The RSI is currently at 69.3, approaching the overbought level of 80, suggesting a potential pullback. However, the forecast prices are consistently above the upper Bollinger Band, indicating strong buying pressure. Therefore, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $2.51. Given the current RSI and proximity to the overbought level, set a stop loss at $2.43 to protect against a potential short-term decline. The primary target price should be $2.62, aligning with the forecast and the upper Bollinger Band. A secondary target price can be set at $2.73, based on the highest forecast price for the week. This strategy combines the bullish trend indicated by the forecast and historical data with risk management through the stop loss and target prices. Based on the historical data and forecast, Render has shown a strong upward trend, breaking through the resistance level of $2.37. The RSI consistently moved above 70, indicating overbought conditions, but the price continued to rise, suggesting strong bullish momentum. The forecast for the next week projects a price range between $2.06 and $2.2, which is still above the support level of $2. Considering this, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $2.06. The stop loss should be placed just below the support level at $1.96 to protect against potential downside risks. The initial target price will be $2.2, aiming to capitalize on the short-term upward momentum. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. When the price touches the lower band, it signals a potential buying opportunity, but in this case, the price has already moved significantly above the band. Therefore, we'll focus on the initial long position. If the price reaches the $2.2 target, we can consider taking partial profits and setting a trailing stop loss around $2.1 to secure gains and potentially capture further upside. This blended approach combines trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Bands considerations to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, POL Xmatic shows a strong uptrend. The price has been consistently increasing from $0.101 to $0.155, with a forecast predicting further growth to $0.167. The RSI consistently moved above 30, indicating a bullish momentum, and the forecast RSI will continue to rise above 50. The Bollinger Bands are expanding, suggesting increasing volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $0.141, placing a stop-loss order at $0.136 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be $0.153, aiming to capitalize on the anticipated short-term price increase. To maximize returns, we will implement a dynamic trailing stop-loss. Once the price reaches $0.153, we will move the stop-loss to $0.141, securing a portion of the profit while allowing the price to continue rising. If the price continues to climb, we will adjust the stop-loss again to $0.146, and finally, to $0.15. The final target price will be $0.167, aligning with the forecast data. This strategy combines the momentum of the uptrend, the support of the recent price action, and the potential indicated by the forecast, while employing risk management techniques to protect capital and maximize potential gains.